harvesting olives in a hurry.
We have to get a move on. They stole from us last night.
Gangs of thieves are targeting produce grown by farmers like Antonio Basa.
It's frustrating. The sacrifice we're making, my family, my colleagues. After working all day in the fields, we're having to guard them as well.
Antonio feels powerless in this game of cat and mouse, one where criminals rarely get caught. In a battle over precious olive oil.
In 6 years at most, all the farmers here will have given up.
Antonio is putting all his faith in this harvest, the first hand-picked yield after 2 disastrous years. More and more often these days, he's considered giving it up altogether.
There's too much bureaucracy and way too many administrative hurdles. And there's no generational change. Young people don't want to do this anymore.
Nevertheless, Antonio's son Sergio helps out where he can. This year's harvest is expected to be better than in the 2 previous years, when crops were impacted by extreme drought.
Everything's green here now, but in the last drought, even the trees were dry.
The farmers are grappling with a different problem this year: olive thieves. That's why they're harvesting the fruit as fast as they can.
We work until the afternoon, unload the harvest and jump in the shower. Then we have to come back out to the fields and patrol them until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
On the back of droughts and poor harvests, olives are more valuable than ever. Even if the trees are hundreds of years old, the thieves don't care.
They stole 12,000 kilos of olives from us. Look at the branches. See? They're broken. These thieves have no mercy. They've just hit them with this stick.
It's a huge financial loss, for upcoming years too. Damaged trees won't produce much fruit. And neither the perpetrators nor their criminal network were caught.
There must be farmers who buy olives from the thieves and channel them into legal circulation as oil. There's no other explanation.
Faced with a recent spate of thefts like these, Antonio is seriously thinking about giving up on everything he's worked so hard to build up. He left Madrid 15 years ago for a more peaceful life, returning to his home region of Naval Villa de Pela.
A newborn lamb. How amazing. Life on this earth is both an illusion and a great sacrifice. But seeing a creature like this makes it all worthwhile. What else can I say? This is life.
The merino lambs are Antonio's pride and joy, and a second income stream along with the olives. He and his family also make sausage and cheese. But his dream of an idyllic rural life has long since been shattered. In the wake of 2 consecutive drought years, 2022 and 2023, olive oil production plummeted by more than half. Crop failures in Spain, the world's largest producer of olive oil, sent prices skyrocketing across Europe. In Spanish supermarkets, the valuable bottles are now fitted with security tags or locked to shelves. At the olive mill, Antonio also gets more money per kilo. Within a year, the price of olive oil has more than doubled in Spain. But Antonio has still made a loss because of the crop failures. And to make matters worse, now there are criminal gangs trying to get to the olives.
There are thefts every year, but more this year because of the price rise.
The stolen olives are shipped to other regions for pressing. But farmers aren't the only victims in this type of crime. Oil mill operators are also impacted. José Medina had 4 break-ins in 2023. They were highly professional jobs.
You can see it here. They smashed the stones and opened the door that way with a crowbar.
Beforehand, perpetrators cut the power supply to the alarm system. The cost to José after 4 burglaries in quick succession, 80,000 euros.
They stole a total of 14 pallets from up there. They must have used a forklift truck. We're making a loss because of the break-ins, because our insurers are refusing to pay out. They say our alarm system should have directly alerted the police. That's why they're not paying a cent.
José has been running his oil mill for 25 years. He employs a staff of 7, but doesn't know if he can keep them on. His oil is derived from an ancient grove with good soil. As well as regular oil for restaurants, he also exports selected products as far as Japan and Taiwan. But the business now has an uncertain future.
They also stole from here and took the 5-liter bottles. The other bottles too. Everything but the vinegar. I feel so powerless and angry. Honestly, I'd like to kill these guys. All the effort we put into the oil, and it's gone now.
If his insurance company doesn't pay, then José may go bankrupt, even though the perpetrators of the last break-in were actually caught.
I asked the police whether the thieves would go to jail and whether I'd get my money back. They said no, A judge won't impose a prison sentence for this kind of theft, and you won't get any of your money back.
On patrol with a special unit of Spain's environmental police.
We're checking a finca today.
Fran Camorra has been with Spain's Nature Protection Service for 30 years. His unit is on the Olive Thieves Trail and stepping up the number of raids, partly because there's growing pressure on investigators to bring more of these cases to court.
They mostly steal at night. It's safer. But actually, we're now seeing more daytime raids on larger fincas.
Fran explains that it's impossible to be everywhere all the time, and frankly admits, even with the help of drones and motorbikes, it's difficult to catch the gangs. There are simply too many of them. On top of that, the police can only detain offenders for a short time.
We catch a maximum 10% of the thieves. It's difficult and the success rate is minimal.
On today's patrol, Fran and his colleague are looking for illegal boreholes. They're here to carry out an unannounced inspection on the property of a farmer who grows olives and oranges.
They've locked the gate. We can't get through by car. Everything's fenced off. They're definitely trying to block our access.
From here, there's no option but to continue on foot. There might be guard dogs running around. Fran and his colleagues from the water board can't be sure. Then they find the first illegal well.
They drilled one here, but the farmer has taken the machinery away.
But he can easily reactivate the borehole when the next dry spell comes.
Let's go look at the other two.
Thanks to tip-offs from neighbors, they know where to find the illegal boreholes.
Under Spanish law, it's forbidden to have a well in such close proximity to the stream over there.
This outhouse and its pumping station are illegal.
We have to prove that it's in use.
They quickly realize it's extracting water. But this alone isn't enough to slap the farmer with a fine. They must also prove that the seal affixed on the last inspection isn't damaged in any way.
We're inside. It looks as though the seal is still on. It hasn't been tampered with.
The inspectors are finding more and more boreholes, also as a result of the drought. Because some farmers will do anything to save their crops, even if it's against the law.
Farmers are using more water every year, which means groundwater levels are sinking. Expanding olive and orange plantations need more and more irrigation. So farmers are drilling deeper and deeper boreholes, running the risk that eventually all our water resources will run out.
Exacerbating the problem, drastic changes within the sector. More and more farmers are uprooting their ancient olive trees. Many are then exported to Qatar and even Japan. Before that can happen, the centuries-old trunks must be meticulously cleaned. The tree is more popular than ever as an ornamental plant in the Middle East and Asia. In place of the old trees, young ones planted close together in rows. Intensive olive farming requires less human intervention, more water, and more pesticides, and produces significantly higher yields, leaving farmers with more profit in their pockets. But there are other, gentler approaches. Such as organic cultivation, without additional irrigation and without pesticides. One pioneer in organic farming is Antonio Campos. An agricultural engineer, he's currently passing on some of his sustainability know-how to farmers from his region. Their primary question, why he lets grass grow on his plantation.
When we stopped spraying the soil with weed killers, many people found it totally inconceivable. But it actually makes it easier to control pests and diseases.
Antonio spent years honing ways to cultivate the best olives. He's been a certified organic farmer for 4 years, with an astonishingly simple recipe for success.
Plant growth on the ground has boosted lacewing populations. These feed on pests that attack the olive. So if we see pests, it's not a problem as long as we see enough lacewings. Nature regulates itself and creates a sustainable balance.
Antonio shares his insights on microbiology and explains that his plantation is better able to withstand periods of drought than regular ones. This piques the farmer's interest.
Smallholders think organic cultivation is worthwhile, but large farms don't. They retain their intensive methods and pocket the profits, depleting the soil in the long term.
Spain's organic farming sector is growing, but it's still a niche market.
When we started out 15 years ago, letting the grass grow was unthinkable. That's why people in the village asked my mother if we were selling the land. They thought we'd abandoned the grove.
On the contrary, Antonio has optimized the entire process right through to the olive mill stage and created his own organic brand. It's won him accolades all over the world. European Union funding programs have helped finance the endeavor. It's hoped the region's conventional farmers will be encouraged to try the new approach. After all, they can sell organic olive oil for a much higher price.
We're stuck in our ways. It's difficult for us to imagine growing without pesticides. But we must follow the path of the young.
Back in Navalvillar de Pela with Antonio Basa. He's divvying up the cars for the night patrol. Because the harvest season is drawing to an end, he and his neighbors are only using 6 cars. At the peak of the season, it's 40 to 50.
There are whole gangs of people out and about stealing olives. This man has been robbed for several years in a row. Antonio, too.
The police only patrol the roads. It's us farmers who are actually dealing with the problem and who know the location of the olives they're after.
Sometimes the thieves are caught and the olives seized, but the next day they're released and steal again. There are many repeat offenders.
In Spain, it's only considered theft upwards of 400 euros per offender. As long as the laws don't change, we'll have to carry on doing this.
It's 9 p.m. Time to get going. Antonio will be driving around for 5 hours tonight.
I'm so tired. Imagine doing this after a long working day. It costs us fuel, time. No one likes it. But we truly don't have any choice.
Will they intercept any thieves tonight?
10 days ago, we managed to catch a group. They tried to run away, but we were able to stop them. We then handed them over to the police.
A quick meeting with his son Sergio and colleagues. So far, nothing to report.
The patrols take up hours of our time. A few sandwiches for dinner? This is no life. Hopefully the harvest will soon be over, then things will calm down a bit. Let's drive on.
At 2 a.m., Antonio is finally done for the night. But the next morning, he's up early and back out in the fields. His neighbor needs help.
We're hurrying because they've been back and stolen on a massive scale during the night. It's really stressful.
900 kilos stolen from my neighbor.
Despite being out on patrol last night, they didn't notice the thieves. Now neighbor Juan Serrano has to quickly pick all the olives in case they return.
I'm so angry. We tend the olive trees throughout the year and they steal hundreds of kilos in one night and leave the trees so damaged they won't produce any fruit next year.
He estimates the cost at 1,200 euros. Luckily, Juan and his wife are able to rely on the support of friends and neighbors.
My husband's still recovering from an operation on his hand, so it's important that Antonio and the others are helping us today.
There's strength in community. It also shows the thieves that our village is united. It might even scare them. That's our message to them. Don't think you can come here and take away our bread and butter. We'll show you.
On days like these, many farmers here think of giving up.
The farmer's life isn't easy as it is. You have to keep on top of everything. And then along come these thieves and take our crops away. It's a huge blow.
This battle is being waged with increasing ferocity. Farmers from the region recently caught a gang of thieves red-handed and set fire to their car. Whenever Antonio takes his olives to the head of his cooperative, discussions always revolve around the same topic: growing anger. Anger at EU regulations, at the thieves, and at the Spanish government, which isn't doing enough to catch those responsible.
Every year we remind the police that it's down to them to root out this theft problem, not just by monitoring our fields, but also by following the trail to the mills where the thieves secretly sell our olives. After all, if they can't sell them, the olives aren't worth anything to the thieves.
Antonio loves his profession, despite everything. The smell of freshly pressed olives, for him, there's nothing like it. A tractor attachment has just been delivered to the farm. It should speed up the harvest. For the time being, the father and son duo don't intend to give up.
Somehow, it's worth it. Trying out this new machine with my son, you can't put a price on that. Yeah, gangs of thieves are roaming our country, but I won't just give up.
The olive vacuum cleaner works. It's an investment in the future.
We must carry on. After all, I love this work. Otherwise, I'd have given up a long time ago.